And we are live. Welcome back to another episode of the Baseline Bums podcast. It's your host, Rob, aka B-Ball Archives. And once again, I got the bum AJ up in the casa. Um, it's not a super exciting morning because we are about to talk about a pretty frustrating Spurs loss against a lowly Jazz team that we should not have lost to. But nonetheless, we got to break things down. First and foremost, though, how's your Christmas? How you doing on the heels of the holiday season?
Dude, not bad. Not bad. Like it was definitely one of those Christmases that like we didn't know exactly how it was gonna go, but all in all, worked out pretty well. Got Santa brought me this cool hat that says Big 12 champs. And after the Big 12 is now 2-0 in bowl games, makes me feel really good about this championship team we got here at Texas Tech. So other than that, I got this dope shirt that says I love El Jefe at Dick's. So if you want more of that kind of merch, Dick's has some good stuff. It's not on sale. So you're gonna pay $35 a shirt because that's what the price is nowadays, which is fucking stupid. But anyway, I digress. Rob, how was your Christmas?
It was pretty solid, and I love that you brought up merch. Our first piece of Baseline Bums podcast merch about to drop soon, and we're not going to charge you an arm and a leg for it. So if you're looking for some cool Spurs related merchandise, be on the lookout. But yes, my Christmas was fantastic. I spent a lot of great time with family. I feel like I gained a solid 5-10 pounds, and
For sure.
I'm about to have to work that off, dude. I'm feeling super sluggish right now, but
Bro, you have
um,
no idea. Like I can only eat so many tamales at once. All the cookies that I've eaten, all the buñuelos that I've eaten, dude. It's and then they're like, "Do you want a soda?" I'm like, "Of course I want a soda."
you're right. Of course, I want that piece of chocolate pecan pie. I mean, like,
Yeah.
just go ahead and give it to me right now. And so
And then
it's
on top of that, I think yesterday was the first day I didn't have a sip of alcohol in like a week and a half. So I'm like, yeah, like we need to reset hard
right. That's
until New Year's Eve.
right. And then you go hard, and then it's like then you're like, all right, I need to cleanse or something like that because you did your body dirty. But you know who did us dirty yesterday?
Yeah.
The freaking Jazz, dude. We
Go
got
back
did
to New Orleans.
Dude, we got did in by the 11th place in the West Jazz. Like, it was a very frustrating loss. I mean, and it wasn't like a one or two possession, like, oh, who's gonna
Right.
take this in a close late game situation. Like, they were handily beating us for the majority of that fourth quarter. And yeah, pretty frustrating all in all. But when I'm looking at this game, we just didn't close out on their three-point attempts. We did not aggressively close out well enough on their shooters, and that led to them shooting 46% from beyond the arc. And
Jesus.
yeah, it's you're never going to beat a team if you're allowing them to be that efficient.
Yeah.
Never.
No, absolutely. And I mean, Will Hardy, of course, he's the one that beats the Spurs, right? So like that's kind of nice. So like Will Hardy's gonna he knows our system, he knows our crew, he knows how to like where the holes are at. And I don't know if you noticed this, but I sure as hell did. Um Nurkic was hitting a lot of those little bunnies, and a lot of those other guards were hitting those like in between shots that were like little floaters that got over Wemby or got over Cornette, or it put them in a position where they're like, should I contest? Should I stay down? Like, what should I do here? And so it really, you couple that with their hot streak from three, it's a tough game. And it's definitely, it was like Sean Elliott said it several times, especially in the first quarter. Like, this is kind of a trap game. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. And they've been playing really well basketball. I think who they beat before us, like someone big, like not like a good team they beat. I forgot who it was, but they
Yeah.
beat them at home. So this is kind of one of those like, damn. And then on top of that, we didn't have De'Aaron Fox. So like now you see like when we have a full roster in front of us with all of our players, with all of our amazing guards, good things happen. And when one of those pieces is missing, we're trying to find that offense. And when everyone's missing shots, you lose.
That's a great point. Like, we were really missing De'Aaron Fox's on-ball creation, and I think that while certain players get gravity for certain things they do on the court. A lot of the gravity we attribute to players is because of their ability to shoot and how they space the floor and stuff like that. But you need to give De'Aaron Fox space for how quick he is. And
Right.
we literally were seeing the effects of that lack of gravity, and that lack of on ball creation. And yeah, we really miss that. And we're a team that, we're very talented from top to bottom, but we really need that depth. And I think that this was a clear example where, we're a team that can beat anybody in the league, but on any given night, we are still inexperienced to the point where we can play down to some teams
Yeah.
where we should not be competing with them, should not have been a close game, but yet we're allowing them to shoot 46% from beyond the arc. And even though we are crushing them on the rebounding battle, and that was honestly the most frustrating part to me. It's like we got 16 more shots than they did.
Right.
We took 16 more shots. We doubled their offensive rebounding, and we were not able to capitalize on it. And yeah, that's just not the way I want to see us losing games.
Right. And then you look at the shot chart because I was like, you know what? I'm gonna look at the chart real quick because I was curious to know like what it looked like. And obviously we have a I would say we won the highlights. We had a shit ton of highlights that were awesome, like Wemby's dunk, De'Aaron Harper's dunk, Castle's dunk. Like we had some awesome highlights in this game, but it was in a loss. And I'm looking at the shot chart right now, and I mean, we missed a bunch of 3-pointers, but we didn't get any mid range shots. Like there's like just a couple of sprinkles here and there. And one thing that we saw whenever we were on our 8-game win streak was De'Aaron Fox was getting into those creases and hitting those shots. And when you collapse the defense, then makes everything else just a little bit easier. And we just didn't have that person to do it. And when Steph Castle struggles from the floor like the way he did last night, you're not going to win many games when your other star player is out too. So that's something that we obviously need to lock up and figure out. But at the end of the day, it's one game. It was a trap game. You come off these super high highs. I mean, it's hard to go from playing 2 games against the best team in the NBA to one of the worst teams in the NBA and just kind of keep that same energy. Especially after a few dozen tamales and menudo and all that other stuff too. So it's hard. But honestly, what I will say, Rob, is shout out to the Jackals for bringing the energy. And even when we were down by 16 points or whatever it was, they were standing the whole time, like dollar 2-1 or whatever they do. It was great. Like I thoroughly enjoyed that part.
Yeah, I mean they're going to bring the enthusiasm regardless how the Spurs are doing. And even when we're losing to a team like the Jazz, like that's when we need the Jackals even more. Is like you don't want to leave hanging your head about this loss. You want to still feel pumped up about how good we're doing overall, cuz even after a
Yeah.
loss like this, we're still second in the West. Like
Yeah.
we're still sitting at an amazing spot right now. And yeah, there's just things about this loss that are frustrating. And of course, the Jackals cheering us on is absolutely not one of them. But you brought up a great point earlier in Steph Castle kind of struggling yesterday, and the starters went 4 of 30 for beyond the arc. And
Yeah.
when I look at it through that lens, we have to know how to abandon that a little bit quicker when we're seeing our team kind of not get it done through that method. I really want to see us just crash the paint even more so,
Yep.
because there is no reason on a night where we have that much dominance down low, not only from rebounding, but we also won on the points in the paint. There's no reason why we shouldn't be spamming that for a W. Like there's just
Yeah.
absolutely no excuse.
No, and we like I said, we had a bunch of highlights. We were lobbing the ball to Wemby. Wemby was I don't know how many dunks he had, but he had to have like 5 or 6 at least. And whenever you have that matchup, and I mean, like Nurkic is a good player, but he's not like this all world defender. And I would have liked to see that too. And then also like in the second quarter, whenever they went through their, they basically blew it out and ran us off the court in the second quarter, essentially. He didn't play a lot of minutes, but in the minutes he did play, I saw the back of his jersey a lot. And he was getting beat and he was looking like he didn't really was confident in the defense and what the schemes were. He looked slow-footed. He I don't think Jeremy Sohan can defend the 1 through 5 anymore, man. Like I think that calf strain or that whatever he was going through really screwed him up. And his confidence is completely shot. I mean, it's shot. You see it when he was on the court in the second quarter. I was like, that's a guy that hasn't seen the floor in a month. That's a guy who needs more reps. That's a guy that he's not going to get in San Antonio. So we got to figure that out. And I think Mitch Johnson put him out there to see kind of like, let's see what I can do. Let's see what we can get. We need some kind of spark. We need some kind of energy. And he wasn't it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is a good indication of where he's at right now within the organization. Is I think that is largely what Mitch Johnson did yesterday. He was like, "This is a game where I feel like I can, throw Jeremy Sohan out there and a unique, lineup in the second quarter and see if he, kind of does something positive." I mean, he played 6 minutes, had a couple of turnovers, didn't really do much, had one assist outside of that, no rebounds, didn't attempt a field goal, didn't attempt a free throw. You
But
know,
then on defense, you're like, hey man, like this is what you're supposed to do. And I mean, was it Clayton and uh George that got around him every time. And it's like, dude, like that's not good. So, we definitely missed Fox because obviously I don't think Jeremy Sohan would have been there. But I mean, if we're looking at some positives, Carter Bryant had a pretty decent game. Was the only guy, I guess, yeah, the only guy that had a plus rating. So, those are some good signs that we can see. But all in all, man, like this was a really disappointing loss.
yeah, it was very disappointing just because there was clear ways where we could win. I did like those Carter Bryant minutes, like you were saying. I liked the intensity he brought on defense. There was a couple of times he just crashed the rebounds with reckless abandon, and I'm like, that's the kind of energy I
Right.
want to see from a guy coming in off the bench, just wanting to create that sense of urgency and motivation for the rest of the second unit. But yeah, it just really irks me when we have the ability to dominate down low with such regularity and we move away from it, and then simultaneously it feels like we're just not closing out on threes nearly enough. And whether it's Markkanen or Sensabaugh, Keontae
Yeah.
George was getting up shots all night. There was a couple of threes that Nurkic nailed because we were running such pitiful drop coverage to the point where we weren't even respecting him at all. And he can hit those practice three
Yeah.
pointers all day long if you give him space. And so
Yep.
I, yeah, I just wasn't really a fan of how he closed out on the three ball all night long. And it led to them shooting their best percentage of any game this season.
But shout out to Will Hardy, man. Like if anyone's gonna beat the Spurs, it's gonna be a former Spur. And my only concern is, you know, after winning 8 games straight and then us losing the way we did, what I don't want this to be is the blueprint to beat the Spurs. So I'm sure Mr. Johnson and the coaching staff is going to get in there and be like, we're going to mitigate all this and we're not going to have this happen again. The good thing is we do have, a 3 game homestead. So maybe this team just is better on the road. Maybe this team just enjoys being on the road more than they enjoy being at home. I don't know. Like I'm just trying to pull straws out of the sky right now. But at the end of the day, I think, one thing I would like to see is in these games when De'Aaron Fox isn't in the lineup, run our three-headed monster to start the game. Run Dylan Harper, run Castle, run Wemby, start them. Like let's change it up, kind of thing. Because as much as I love Dylan Harper coming off the bench, maybe that would have been a nice piece to have like start the game. Now, granted, we scored what 40 points in the first quarter. So that was great. But in the second quarter, we just couldn't hit anything and they were hitting all the shots. And also we were, I think the money line was us minus 800, and we were favored by 14 points. Like we should have dominated that game.
Right. And instead, we got handled by double digits in what seemed like a
We had a
game.
chance. We had a chance. We tied it up in the fourth quarter. We
We
had a
did.
chance. We made our run, but when you dig yourself that big of a hole, not much you can do, unfortunately. But you know, it is what it is. You learn from the mistakes, and honestly, like good back to reality loss. Honestly, it's a really
Right.
good back to reality loss.
Right. And I don't want to belittle the Jazz either because like when we're talking about, Laurie Markkinen having a big game and scoring 29 on us, we know he's a good player. Like he can have games like this and I don't want to belittle Keontae George either. Like he's been having an amazing season. He's literally averaging 24, 7 and 4 this year. And so
Yeah,
that's damn near all-star
and
level numbers, but not necessarily in the Western Conference. But still, they're playing really good basketball. So I don't want to belittle them, but they should not be able to hold the candle to us.
right, and like I said it earlier, but Walter Clayton, man, that dude, that's a great player. That's a great player, and I'm
Walter
excited to see
Clayton?
kind of what.
You said Walter Clayton?
Yeah,
Gosh dang it. He just pisses me off so much. Like, how can you give him props after knowing what he did to us the year
I
previously?
know. Well, that's because I
Ah,
know who he is. Like I know because he broke Texas Tech's hearts, and then like he comes into he just plays really well in San Antonio, motherfucker. So like he went 6 for 6, two for two on three, 17 points. Like yeah, man, that guy loves to play in San Antonio. It reminds him of winning national titles.
yeah, I mean, he's definitely a good player offensively and can get things going. Yeah, gosh dang, I'm okay with him having good games, just not against us. Like
Yeah, exactly.
it,
It's like
it
I can't
just
get away from him.
right, yeah. Whether it's college, whether it's pro ball, I can't get away from Walter Clayton Jr. pissing me off playing my
Yeah.
team.
And I mean, and honestly, if their record was better, if they were probably more in the mix in the playoff hunt and stuff, he'd probably be more considered for rookie of the year.
Yeah, he's just not in a position where I mean, he's just not the most important young budding
Right.
guard on his team. Keontae George is that guy right now. But yeah, we were not playing well last night, not shooting
But
well, and that's not a recipe for playing against any team, really.
yeah, but we have who do we have next? Cavs? Cavs?
Yes, we have the Cavs coming up next. Let me just pull up
It's I
the
think it's Cavs and Knicks. So like, yeah, this was a trap game.
yeah, this was always the game that was going to be like the potential lull, uh the kind of in between. Yeah, we play the Cavs, the Knicks, and then we're seeing the Pacers and then Blazers, Grizzlies. So, you know, there there are some really good favorable matchups in here.
Yeah. So I'm hoping we get De'Aaron Fox back. I think it was an abdominal strain, is what they were calling it, whatever that means.
Right.
Um, so hopefully he's okay. But dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like Wimby's left calf strain. I strained my calf the other day. Same one, obviously a little shorter, but it fucking sucks, man. Like I can't step upstairs. Like I'm like, ow, that's a little weird, or just like doing random things. So like these calf muscles are not as fun. I got some thick calves too.
Bro, dude. I mean, well, the bigger your calf, the easier it is to pull it. But so technically, guys like me and Wemby that have these little bird calves, we're actually, less likely to do that. But it's all just precaution. We just can't have him out there pulling a Tatum or a Halliburton
Yeah.
and, just seeing his Achilles pop like that because man, no one wants to see any player go through what those guys are going through right now. So that's
No,
just
especially right now with this Spurs team. I need to see this. So I think what's how many games has have all of our players played? Like four,
yeah, I mean
four, five, maybe give or take. Obviously correct us if we're wrong, but like we still
yeah.
haven't seen this squad like fully healthy and in a long stretch of period time. Like we got what, maybe a week and a half these past couple weeks whenever Wemby came back, but now like I want to see this squad for a full month plus play together. Like I want to see what this squad can do when they're all on the same floor and they're clicking like us, because that was one of the best things that we saw in that 8 game win streak is that we had different players what's it called, lead in scoring or do different things, or have four guys score 20 points, that kind of thing. So you know i'm um I'm just I want to see this squad play ball together, and I'm hoping here in the Cavs, Knicks, and those games that we get to see it, especially at home. The fans deserve it.
Absolutely. Yeah, the fans certainly deserve it. Round ball, I'm sorry for bringing up Tatum. I didn't mean to I didn't mean to hit you in the gut this morning like that. That's my bad.
This coffee is
Um,
about to hit me in the gut.
right, that's understandable so. But yeah, honestly, there was a lot to not like about the game against the Jazz yesterday, but I got to bring up something that I did love, and that's it's just three simple words at this point, and I feel like I can say it after every game, and that's Keldon fucking Johnson.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude,
Oh yeah.
another big game from Keldon, 27 and 10 off the bench in only 25 minutes. And once again, like not just him crashing around the basket and scoring around the rim and flexing on people way bigger than him. But it's him being a willing catch and shoot kind of guy. It's him just willing to take the in rhythm three whenever it
Yep.
comes to him and not trying to force it, but just taking it in rhythm. You see him go 5 for 7 from beyond the arc. That's what we need. And I think he's presenting himself as the perfect Spurs role player and somebody that we literally can't live without. He's made
Yeah.
himself indispensable to this
100%.
team, um and I think that it's a situation where yeah, he's limited in a limited role, in a lesser role, he's increased his value,
He
which is wild to say.
he's the epitome of let the game come to you. That's exactly who he is. He's like, let the game come to you. And I mean, several times he stopped those runs from the Jazz by hitting the three or getting to the paint or, getting an and one. Like that's the kind of stuff you want to see. And he wasn't forcing it. Steph Castle was forcing it yesterday. And Keldon Johnson was letting it come to him. And that's kind of that's what you want to see, especially with a guy that, he was our number one 4 years ago, but obviously things have changed. He could have easily taken his ball and gone home and, pouted about it, but he is our foundation and he is a pillar of this team. And yeah, we cannot let him go. He is a Spur for life, in my opinion.
Absolutely. That's very much how I'm viewing Keldon. And even on a night where it's kind of tough getting things going, and still on a night where Wemby, is 32 points, 7 rebounds, five
Great game.
blocks, had a big game, but it still felt like Keldon was the reason why we stayed in that game as long as we did. And yeah, we got to give a shout out to Keldon. He continues to just deliver big performances off the bench in not that many minutes and just doing it in all the various ways that you want to see from your spark off the bench, X factor kind of guy.
Yep.
Uh, so yeah, just absolutely can't stop talking about the Spurs Jazz and not mention Keldon. But yeah, that being said, was there any other things that were sticking out to you when you were watching this
No, but
game?
what not necessarily this game, but I think as a season as a whole, one thing that I've really appreciated is Mitch Johnson taking timeouts when they're appropriate. That's one thing that Pop kind of got away from probably 10, 15 years ago. He's like, I'm gonna let these guys work through it. And you're like, no, call fucking timeout. So that's one thing that I love seeing Mitch do is we end a run, call a timeout. He knows when to do it. He knows when his team like just needs a take a second and regroup. And that's one thing that I'm really excited to see Mitch Johnson really improve on. And he gets in their ass and he starts yelling and screaming. And in the first quarter, they called the timeout and he started yelling at the team because they weren't doing their defensive rotations. So it's like, that's the kind of things you want to see in your young coach with a young team. And I think that's how you establish credibility and trust. And when they listen, we win. When they play like shit, we don't win. So I think Mitch Johnson has a really good point on like, hey, when you listen to me, we win 8 straight. When you don't, we lose to the Jazz.
Yeah, I think that is a great point. There's been multiple games where I feel like we've seen him deliver timely fourth quarter timeouts to stop the bleeding or to kind of divert momentum in some way, shape, or form. And to your point, also there was moments like going back to that previous game against the Wizards. Where Wemby had a really silly turnover. I remember he just basically threw the ball right to them, and
Mhm.
then he called a timeout, laid right into Wemby, and essentially was like, "What the hell are you doing? You need to give that ball up sooner, and then go, essentially get down the floor, start establishing position, so we can start our offense." And so you saw him coach Wemby hard, and you know we've learned this from Pop and Tim.
Yeah.
When you coach your superstar player just like everyone else, and you're able to lay into them and really deliver some like hard pieces of coaching, that sends a message to everyone else that, hey, this is the standard, this is
Yep.
what needs to happen in order for us to be victorious. And so it's, humble yourself a little bit. You can't be, Steven Jackson out here mad because you're being coached in a hard way. And so
Right.
there's there's a lot of there's a lot of things to like when we're seeing how Mitch is operating right now. So I think that's a great point.
Yeah, for sure. So, we'll get back on it when we play the Cavs. That's probably gonna be obviously a much tougher game. What's interesting is that we ended up with De'Aaron Fox when all the rumors were like Garland, Garland, Garland. So now we get to see like, hey, he's on the other team. Let's see if we made the right decision, which I think we did. But also I think it's also going to be a good get right game. The Cavs are one game above 500, so they're not, they're good for the East, but we should be able to win that battle, and hopefully we also win against the Knicks and get that game back from the NBA Cup final. But all in all, like, we're still 23-8, hell of a start. So it is what it is. But I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. We don't want to talk about the Jazz no more.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, in just moving forward to the Cavs, like I think that we're primed to beat a team like Cleveland because they thrive on double big rotations with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. And that's easy something that we can counter with Wemby, Cornette, and then even throw Olynyk in there from time to time. And I think that we would be just fine kind of counteracting what they are largely so good at. And our guards are big enough to stay with the physicality of the offense that Donovan Mitchell creates. So I think, we're in a unique position to match up well against a lot of teams. I think that when teams shoot really well against us, that's going to be our Achilles heel because
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to out physicality, good three-point shooting. That's the one thing that Wemby can't really alter as much as everything else is when somebody
Yeah.
just is hitting from 3.
And if you look at the losses that we have, I mean, two against the Warriors, what were they doing? Hitting threes. Timberwolves, what
Exactly.
were they doing? Hitting threes. So like, that's just kind of how the NBA goes sometimes. But I still look at this team, and in a 7 game series, it's going to be hard for teams to beat us 4 times. It's gonna be really hard for teams to beat us 4 times. Not saying it can't happen, but it's going to be hard for them to do.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was saying on a previous episode, even that some of the teams that are playing the best right now, like we could, even, the Knicks who just beat us in the NBA Cup Finals, or, we're talking about a Pistons team that's steaming hot right now, or even the Thunder, the reigning champs.
That's
It's
who the
like
Jazz beat. The Jazz beat the Pistons.
Jazz beat the Pistons. That I mean, that they're blazing hot right now. But I
Yeah.
still take us in a 7 game series over all those teams we just named,
Yeah.
hands
Absolutely.
down.
Yep.
And that means
Re-
we are legit contenders.
Recom Tech. I mean, Spurs.
Well, I mean, neither of those things you said were incorrect. It's Reckham Tech and Go Spurs. Go over here. But that being said, that's a lot of great Spurs chat. Should we dive into some dunks, my friend?
Yes, we should. And I got a good one. I'm gonna go first. I'm sorry.
Let's do
So,
it.
dude, been in San Antonio for a little over a week. Drive back yesterday, and I don't know about you or our viewers here, but whenever I get done with a long drive, I want to take a shower. I just feel gross. My skin's all oily. I need a reset and then just to chill at home on the couch. No big deal, right? And also you get some of that famunda and you're like, dude, that just stinks. So like
Right.
get home, turn on the shower, and I don't have hot water.
Ooh.
So I think my hot water heater is dead. And I tried to reset, did the whole thing, and I'm gonna have to call a plumber, and I'm gonna have to basically get a brand new water heater. And I am not excited about that because it's super expensive for one. We have a home warranty, so we're like, hopefully that covers most of it. But still, at the end of the day, dude, like we don't have hot water, and we're not gonna probably get anyone out here until tomorrow. So either I'm gonna have to go to the gym to take a shower, or I'm just gonna have to take like a whore bath or something like that. So dunk on my water heater for taking a shit while we were gone and not having any hot water when we got back. So your
Ooh.
boy he's clean, just it's cold. Like the water's so cold that my body turned red because all the blood was going to my internal organs. Like that's how cold it was.
Oh shit. So it's just like an involuntary ice bath at this point.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna go to the gym, sit in the sauna for like 45 minutes, and then come back here and be like, oh, this feels great.
Yeah, seriously.
So dunk on my
Uh
water heater,
dude,
asshole.
and the worst time too, like
Yeah.
when it's starting to get like, a little chillier outside just to give out, when you need it the most. That's bullshit.
Yeah. No, it sucks. It sucks. Owning a home is not fun. But it is obviously financially rewarding. So, it is what it is. But we've basically, I think all of our major appliances we've had to replace. And I mean, it is not cheap. So owning a home is great. And I hope more people are able to own homes here in the future. But you also got to pay for all your big shit and air conditioner units and all that stuff. And yeah, it sucks. But dunk on my water heater because I need hot water and you don't have it.
Yep.
Who do you got, buddy?
Um, I got a couple just like small dunks.
Mini dunks.
I'm gonna dunk on Lou Dort. Um,
Yes. Good dunk.
yeah, one of the dirtiest players in the NBA. Whenever you look at his like leg kicks and
They're
his
like
just
so like blatant too, dude. Like at
right.
least try to hide it.
Oh, dude, it's bad. I mean, not only the leg kicks, but just like he'll do it on when he's shooting or when he's on defense. And so it's just whenever he's in a situation where he's getting fouled or fouling, he's going to potentially do something dirty. And I'm not saying he's a Draymond Green, Grayson Allen level dirty, but I think that just outside of that has to be Lou Dort. I think he's top
Yeah.
5 dirty guys in the NBA, and I don't think it gets talked about enough. So fuck you for trying to hurt Wemby's leg multiple
Dude,
times.
that was bad. Like, man, that clip of him like just crashing literally on Wemby, and all the OKC fans are like, "Oh, he didn't get his leg," and it's like, seriously, seriously,
Right. Yeah.
dude. The
That's
OKC fan base on Twitter are assholes, man. Fuck them people. Like they're
delusional.
like they're so far up the Thunder's assholes. Like they can't even criticize them. It's insane.
Right. It's like we get it. They're an amazing team, but at the same time, they're not infallible. They have their problems. They suck at certain things. And so,
Dirty
yeah,
plays.
yeah. Fuck you, Lou Dort. But also, I want to dunk on people that feel the need to bike in a heavily populated city. If you feel the need to bike for like exercise and like you're like cutting people off in traffic and like
Oh no.
you're doing it like in the most populated area of like a downtown area. It's like, dude, I got cut off the other day by a biker who like literally had a red light for the bike lane and I had a green light, cut me off, and then looked at me like, "Hey, I'm coming through here." And I'm like, "Dude, like, are we supposed to treat you like like every other vehicle? Because if so, then like you're a piece of shit right now. Like, what? You don't own the road just because you don't have a motor on your vehicle. So it's, I don't know, the entitlement of some of these
They
bikers. It's like,
Dude, bikers have to obey the traffic laws too. Like my biggest pet peeve is when you get to a stop sign and they just blow right past it. I'm like, dude, no, you're supposed to stop. Like you have wheels too. You're supposed to stop.
right. And if you stopping is that much of a hassle because you don't have the quads and the hammies to get going again, well, you know what? Then don't bike in that area. Go
Right.
find a nice road or wherever where it's not heavily populated to go bike and do whatever the fuck ever. But man, it's like I'm literally on like 6th in Congress and I'm like, having to like worry about people biking through the lane and they're like looking at me like it's my problem. And I'm like, dude, am I in the twilight zone right now? So it's yeah.
It's
Dunk on
like
you,
Waymo
bikers.
doesn't care about your bike, man. So just be heads up.
Bro, that's a great point. Honestly, the problem might take care of itself. It might get clipped by a couple of Waymos, and then they're like, you know what? We're gonna move away from the downtown area.
Yeah, man. And also, one thing that people don't do on bikes is they have no turn signals. They have no things. So you got to put your arm up, put your arm down. Like you got to like point and like I'm doing this way. You got to tell people what you're doing, and that goes for people driving in cars too. After all the driving that I've done this past week or so, people suck, man.
Yeah.
People suck. If you're
Yeah.
going 55 in the left lane just to piss off the person behind you, you can go to hell too. Actually,
Right.
the bike person can take you to hell with you, is what it is. So I thoroughly despise a lot of the drivers that are around the Texas area because a lot of people get homeschooled on driving and they don't go to an actual driving school. And so when you get homeschooled, you're not fully involved with what's going on, and no one who isn't your parent is criticizing you on how to drive. And at the end of the day, you have to be a defensive driver. That's how you have to drive.
Oh
So
yeah.
whenever bike people come into play here, dude, you're gonna get hit. Like either figure
Yeah.
out how to be with your fellow drivers or get off the road.
Right. Because I wanted to be like Lou Dort and do something dirty to those
Just
bikers. Just
open
stick
the
my
door
leg
like you
out.
like.
Seriously, but yeah, I don't, not trying to hurt anyone over here, but at the same time, it's like, dude, just know your time and your place. And when it's on like a busy holiday, people are driving and traveling, maybe just don't ride around for exercise at that point in time. It's like just know your time and
Was that
place.
person wearing like a full like bike thing and everything?
Oh yeah, I'm like, you're not sponsored by anybody. Get out of here, bro. But you know who we are sponsored by? And that's the solarscouts.com/bums. Hit up the Solar Scouts and figure out how to get yourself some clean, reliable solar energy for you and your fam. The temperatures are about to drop, they're about to go crazy. So get yourself a reliable backup. Go to the solarscouts.com/bums. Hit up Nick. He's got a great product. They're gonna help you do some great stuff with your solar bill over there. Uh but yeah, it's feeling like a good episode. Even though we lost to the Jazz, we see a clear path for some really good basketball in the future. So,
The
um,
Yaz flute.
oh yeah, the Jazz flute. Even though it's a Spurs loss, it's still go Spurs go over here. But we gotta say it. It would not be the same without you being here. You guys, everyone that's a part of the Baseline Bums audience, whether you're listening to the Instagram clips, you're consuming the podcast on Apple Podcast, whether you're involved in the lives on YouTube, it's TikTok that you're seeing more of. It doesn't matter where you are. We appreciate all of the engagements, all the likes, the comments. this experience would not be the same without you. So we just want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts that, like, seriously, we really appreciate the fact that you're here, and we want to see you in the comments. We want to see you within the community more and more often, because we love engaging with Spurs fans. That's the whole point of doing this. We want to have a community of really awesome Spurs fans that we can get excited for, just, game in, game out. But that being said, let's hop off here and end this episode the same way we end all episodes. And that's with a go
Go
Spurs,
Spurs,
a
go!
go.
Your new AEW champion, Maxwell Jacob Freeman.
Yeah.